Hi, welcome to the T2 Virtual PTSD experience. We are studying the way Second Life and other virtual tools can be used to help people with PTSD or post-traumatic stress disorder. My name is Private Henson. Your other tour leaders today will be Private Garcia and Private Lara. We're glad you're here. This site has been designed and is operated by the U.S. Department of Defense. It's dedicated to educating people who are experiencing combat-related psychological stress issues, PTSD. This island contains many experiential displays about how combat-related PTSD is thought to be acquired, also common reactions to PTSD, and information about what help is available. Everyone is welcome here, but the information is primarily for people who are currently in the military or who are veterans. And you can certainly see that the military has put some extensive resources into developing this island. I was talking to one professor about the island, and he called it a mega-million-dollar project with very high-quality resources. And I think as we wander around, you'll probably see that. And personally, I think it's a fantastic way for someone who may be embarrassed, uncertain, or confused about PTSD to visit from the comfort of their own home and completely anonymously. It's a very safe space, and it's also a very well thought out space. One of the things the video mentions near the end is that in the future they hope to include one-on-one sessions with counselors. When I was doing research about using virtual worlds to treat PTSD, I kept seeing the name Dr. Skip Rizzo at USC, so I called him. He shared a lot of information with me, and I find it just all completely fascinating. One of the programs he's working on now is called Sim Coach, and you can actually see an example of Sim Coach on YouTube. That is another resource for military actives and veterans, and it's scheduled to become available in a big launch on Memorial Day. They're having this big launch with the Atlanta Braves. Essentially, Sim Coach is a virtual human counselor that sits down with the PTSD sufferer for a virtual counseling session. So Sim Coach can also be used to help live counselors learn more about the realities of PTSD sufferers. It's pretty cool stuff. Dr. Rizzo and others have done a lot of research and development related to using virtual humans in the treatment of behavioral health issues. And they're finding out that oftentimes the virtual human is preferred to a real human for treating certain kinds of disorders like PTSD, autism, and other disorders. I hope you've had a chance now to look around the Visitors Center. There's a great overview video in front of us there, and to our left you'll see Ranger Jane. She's a virtual human who can answer some of your questions. You'll also find brochures you can click to take you to informational websites, a sign-in book, models of the various parts of this island, a video and explanation of a tool called HUD that can be used to monitor a PTSD sufferer's stress levels as he or she tours this site, and even a basketball hoop to let off a little steam. The next stage of this tour will be with Lori, Private Garcia.
Thank you, Private Henson. Hello, class. This is Private Garcia. We're now going to explore downrange, where we can look at some causes of PTSD. If you'll notice to our left, we have a map of the Cascade Valley Loop. You will be receiving warnings that you've not attached to your HUD. You will also be seeing a yellow sign at this checkpoint right here, indicating the lack of a HUD. In the interest of time, we're going to forego attaching that HUD to ourselves. This HUD acts as an anxiety barometer for the visitors here at T2. Straight ahead, this site offers military uniforms to heighten the experience of the participants. Please follow me up the stairs after you've had a nice look around, and I'd like you to notice the thought which went into designing this site. Many of our servicemen returning from war are restricted to wheelchairs, and with that in mind, this site has taken into consideration a universal design in their architecture. Please help yourself and read the signs. Notice where we are on the Cascade Valley Loop. These signs give information about the T2 virtual PTSD experience. This sign on the right states, when you zoom in, it states many service members that suffer from PTSD symptoms worry that if they seek care, their jobs and relationships will suffer. That second sign states that approximately 19% of all service members screen positive for PTSD after deployment. Barely more than half of service members that screen positive for PTSD seek psychological help. The creators of T2 were commissioned by the DCOE, that's a mental health branch of the government, and the objective of this site is to look at the mental health treatment of people with PTSD. So throughout this island, T2, they have embedded information and research on the topic. Let's traverse the concourse and review information on the other side. Now, we are at the entrance of the PTSD simulators. Please do not enter any of these 3 portals right now. These simulations are very well crafted, and each of the intensity levels a participant chooses will offer different insight. I definitely recommend that you return later to run through one or more of these simulators with a HUD attached. But now we will be reporting to the airport.
The survey results come from that little kiosk that was just outside in the street there. So if you guys wanted to be a part of this, you're welcome to do that, to just plug in who you are. Are you a veteran? Are you active duty? Are you a friend? You can see that most of the people who are visiting are on the left here, this purple bar that did say general public, and a lot of veterans yet as well. Then you can see some of the symptoms of PTSD that people who do come here have experienced. It's mostly anxiety. And then the last one is about whether or not that simulation that we just skipped helped the person who went through it cope with their PTSD symptoms or better understand. And it looks like, almost everybody agrees that it was helpful. So this is an airport, and there are flights that go out of here to the Cascade Valley, and there are also, this is an area where people can simulate the receiving of their troops from home. We're running out of time, so we're going to go check out one of the coolest areas of the site, which is the mall. You can see right in front of us here as we wait for everybody, there's some interesting information about the objectives of this mall. So it's an interactive area. And as I mentioned earlier, it's a game-based area. So you can actually gather points for healthy behaviors and find out all sorts of information about how to get points by reading about PTSD and understanding PTSD. We just want to do a quick highlight of the rest of this tour. The mall is a fantastic experience. Please come back here and spend some time. You will notice that there are some experiences in here that are once again designed to provide triggers. And there's also a wealth of information ranging from these eye notes that you'll see bouncing around from place to place to information you'll find in the restaurants and the movie theater.
Welcome, class. My name is Private Lara, and I will be providing information on Next Steps, which is the next stop in our tour. Next Steps is a place where users can take self-assessments, learn relaxation techniques, watch informational videos, access life care, and collaborate with other users. There is also help available on what to do after deployment and important information on suicide prevention. This information is provided by the National Center for PTSD. As part of the Next Step experience, there is a picnic table with an interactive game of chess set up and ready for users to play with. Also, there are meeting rooms available that provide more links for accessing additional care if needed. The Courage Center is where informational and educational videos are shown. Free iPhone and iPad apps are once again available at the QR corner. The Lifeguard Station is where users can learn relaxation skills. The lifeguard is available to teach users breathing techniques that can be accessed by clicking on him. The self-assessment area has 2 boards that provide users with 2 different tests about stressful experiences and pre-screens for possible PTSD. Post-traumatic stress disorder is an illness that not only affects the person suffering from it, but their loved ones as well, so they can lead healthy, normal lives. Next Steps is a place that provides relevant information they need to get started. It also gives the user the private platform that makes this experience more effective and helpful.
Thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you have enjoyed the experience. We certainly have really loved learning about T2. So please come back, and on behalf of Private Laura, Private Garcia, and myself, thank you very much. Bye-bye.